Commentary time. It's been a while since we've done one of these. So, yeah, I'm doing a big backlog of commercials, commentaries that will be released over the next several months. And I'm not sure if it's going to be the first one up, but this is one I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I've really wanted to do a commentary on this episode. So I think we're just going to start with what most commentaries start with, how this came to be. So, obviously, as it goes without saying, I'm a big Doctor Whooves fan. Big fan of My Little Pony, big fan of Doctor Who. So, of course, big fan of Doctor Whooves. But what I was revealing in Doctor Whoves month is that it was because of this project that I got so invested in My Little Pony and Doctor Who. You only had a casual interest in... I only had a casual interest in My Little Pony, and I never got into Doctor Who, and so I'd always loved Doctor Whoves, and I always felt like I owed it so much. So I've been wanting to do Doctor Whoves month pretty much since the channel started. This has been on the back burner for a long time, and it was always going to be a month. It was always going to be Doctor Who's Assistant, it was always going to be Doctor Who's Adventures, and we were always going to cap it off with Wrong Way Backwards. But what finally made me do it was like this boom of revisiting it the month before I did Doctor Who's month, or should I say Doctor Who's 10 weeks, but anyway. So yeah, basically what finally pushed me to do it is that I was doing some of the artwork for the What Pokemon Means to Me video, and if you're an artist or like a digital artist or something, usually you want something really long to listen to so you can just focus on the artwork, but you're not just sitting there in the middle of silence or something, because that could be just as agonizing as trying to, click back to your tab where you're listening to music or something every time a 3-minute song ends. So, because Sherlock Season 4 was coming back around the time I was working on that artwork, I was getting on a Sherlock boom. I wanted to get really back into the Sherlock mood, and something really long is the Sherlock Whooves series. I've mentioned the Sherlock Whooves series a lot because I really like it, and I really hope it's still going, because there hasn't been an episode in a long time, but that's beside the point. So basically, I was listening to a lot of Sherlock Whooves, which led me to listening to a lot of Doctor Whooves, revisiting it. It'd been a while since I'd listened to a lot of them, so I was doing all that. I was even doing more of it because I was doing the artwork, and of course, if you remember those Sherlock first impression videos I did for Season 4, I got really sick during that point. My voice was almost unusable. That's why there's no videos from that time besides the first impressions videos. But not only that, but because I was sick, I was starved. I was ready to go. I wanted to make some big content, and that's what I decided to do with Doctor Whooves. So, like I said, that was always the plan. And this... Okay, I made it the timeline a bit. That was quite a while after Wrong Way Backwards. That was almost 2 years, the me, what an unfortunate name thing. And I can't be the only one who noticed that, right? I'm positive it's a coincidence, but it's a really funny coincidence, and I've never seen anybody mention it.
Because not only are the doctors vastly different in personality, so are their companions. The very analytical Twilight doesn't work well with time.
Trying to figure out where to go next with this. That was pretty much it, but... Okay, let's talk about what separates the Doctor Whoves reviews from my regular reviews. From Doctor Who's an Assistant, not much at all. This is the best part, by the way. Like, I don't remember who plays Pinkie Pie in Doctor Who's Adventures. I'm very sorry, you're very talented, but I don't remember your name. Hearing her and Keiko and Gilly bounce off each other with those zany voices, it's so great. So, as you can see from right here, and from what I think is coming up soon, there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of artwork in this that's not from the production itself. I wanted to avoid using fan art because I didn't really have permission, and I know that's a very, very complicated issue. when it comes to stuff like this, but that's a whole other topic. Mostly, as far as the artwork goes, I wanted to stick to things that were made for the official release. With Doctor Whoves and Assistant, there's a lot of that. They have people submit art, and they use that for the episode most of the time. With Doctor Who's Adventures, sometimes there's other artwork, but usually it's just a poster. And that was exactly the case with Wrong Way Backwards, both times. So there was a bit more artwork than you're used to with Doctor Who's Adventures, but it was like 5 to 10 minute gaps of just the same picture, which is fine because it's an audio drama. And you don't really need artwork. It's just things like this, and Bride of Discord and stuff, and Princess Trixie Sparkle have made it really popular to use various pieces of artwork, to some points sometimes being an animatic practically. But when you're doing a review like this, you want to keep the audience's attention. The best way to do that is to have new visuals every now and then. And I could have just had me, like my little OC, posing a lot. Okay, we're gonna pause real quick. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting myself, but this... Okay, here's the thing. I listened to Wrong Way Backwards first, and then I heard Zagreus. And I'm like, this is Wrong Way Backwards. And it's not, like, it's kind of a different story. You know, it's not two doctors being swapped. And you could argue that the other doctors besides Paul McGann aren't actually there. But I felt like this had to be mentioned because there's a lot of similarities. And when I found it, I looked this up like not long after I heard Zagreus. And when I found that ask, I think I'm going to show it in a second, that Pierce and Squeak never even heard Zagreus. Like, I'm sure it's possible for something as big and expansive as Doctor Who, with over 50 years of main series and supplementary materials like audio dramas and novels, that you could accidentally create a very similar story. But it was just ridiculous how similar it was. And I will go back to what I'm talking about with the artwork, but I want to see this because this is something that still bugs me. Yeah, someone pointed this out back when the Doctor gave Clara a key. Amy and Rory never got a key. I don't know why. They're practically family. They're the closest thing Doctor has to family in the new series. And they never got a key. And this has bugged me for a while. I'm sorry. This is never explained. Never explained. I really wish I'd done this video when I figured out how to export clips, because it would have looked so much nicer. So yeah, that again, it's not a nitpick, but it's not a deal breaker by any stretch. But it's one of those nitpicks. I don't even know if it's a nitpick because it's a big thing. It moves the plot forward, and they never explain it. I don't know. Maybe someone can explain it to me, but no one has. This video's been up for a while, and it's one of my more popular videos, and no one's ever mentioned it. Okay, so the artwork, basically, to keep the audience's attention and to help visualize what's going on in the drama of the story, or even just the laughs of the story, I had to fill in the blanks myself, which I was very happy to do, because some of my artwork on YouTube, on my other channel, is through Doctor Whoves storyboards. If you've seen that Rings of Akaten Doctor Whoves edition video, that's me. That was mine. I did that back in 2013. So I have a lot of experience drawing the time-traveling stallion, and it was kind of nostalgic. It was really nice to do it again, because it had been so long, and my artwork had improved so much, as you can see right here. This was from an animatic of the song I did back in 2013, and I really wanted to redraw these just to show just how much better my artwork has gotten, especially with ponies. These Doctor Whoves animatics were my first introduction to doing artwork for ponies. Some of it's okay. I even got a compliment from one of the people who was working for Pony in a Box at the time about my camera choices, about my cinematography. But yeah, oh god, his snout's too big, Derpy's hair is all wrong, Derpy's mane and tail, it looks ugh. I still can't draw Pegasus wings to save my life. I've gotten way better at it, but it's still not great.
Well, but back to the story. They run into one of the Jabberwock agents.
And I wanted to redraw that just to show how far my artwork has come, but I just ran out of time. This was like the very last day of March, and I started Doctor Whooves month in February. So I just had to get this done. I do love that face. I forgot about that.
So did a Jabberwock agent, but this one isn't as intact.
So that's part of the reason why both Doctor Whooves and Adventure and Wrong Way Backwards took so long to get out, because I kind of overestimated myself. Like that scene with the with Time Turner and Clockwork in front of the Jabberwock, that took me a whole day. That was a whole night that I spent on that one. I'm not a quick drawer. I'm not a sketcher. I should probably learn, because I could get videos out like this quicker.
He went with the quick solution and gouged its eyes out.
Okay, I do like that joke. That was a very last minute addition, and I was so grateful to find this comic that that Pierce did, or Jitterbug Jive, did of that scene of the Doctor of Time Turner gouging the Jabberwock's eyes out and then cutting off its head. It took me forever to find it, but I remembered it, and it was a perfect visual for that joke. And I didn't realize until a while afterward that this was actually paralleling what the Nostalgia Critic was doing about. It was also a scene in the Alice in Wonderland movie of her cutting the Jabberwock's head off. I didn't realize that until after, and again, surprised no one pointed it out.
Highlight of the episode. This entire conversation could make for a video on its own, but instead it's probably going to be the main reason why this video is so long.
And it was.
Complex
Yeah, that was the other thing. There were some... Wrong Way Backwards is a very complicated story, and it was definitely the toughest script to write. That's kind of why I'm doing it as the commentary for this one, because it was definitely the biggest undertaking in terms of how much artwork I needed to do, in terms of how I needed to properly analyze this, because this is the biggest part of the story, this argument between Time Turner and Clockwork. It's what everyone remembers, and I knew why I liked it, but conveying it was a bit more difficult. And by that I mean, like, that sounds weird. Like, if I know why I like it, then why don't I just say why? Because sometimes it seems like what's there, especially in these audio dramas, pretty much speaks for itself. This conversation goes on for like 10 minutes, and you feel the weight. They go through everything, dissect the Doctor's morality and reasons for doing what he does, and why he doesn't go down darker paths, and why he does, that it was tough to figure out how to put that into words that the show didn't already do. And part of the way that helped that was drawing from the Doctor's legacy. That moment from Day of the Doctor, which, by the way, again, was like 10 months after this came out. And when I was writing this, it's weird. When you write a review, sometimes as you're trying to figure out how to put it into words, as you're figuring out why you feel a certain way about a thing, sitting down and writing about it can help you put that into words. Like, for some reason, I'd never really made this comparison of the fact that Clockwork never really saved the day on his own. He never really did big, epic, doctor-y things. He had speeches, he had that way of inspiring other ponies to be better, to be what he sees in the universe, but I never internalized that before, if that makes any sense. But trying to figure out what the Doctor is, what I love about the Doctor, and what I love about Doctor Who, helped me figure out why this scene works as well as it does, which is why I've mentioned Mr. Tardis's review, because I was watching a lot of Doctor Who stuff at the time, and I was rewatching that video, and when he brought up that point, I was like, that's exactly like Clockwork. And I never realized that before.
the Doctor so far. It's especially memorable when you consider that this was Keiko's penultimate performance as the Doctor.
I'm not quite sure how that came across just now, but it was just, it was me,
And that's not what we're talking about.
reflecting? I don't know if that's the right word. This is why I don't do unscripted things that often.
It does not feel like it goes on for over 10 minutes, which
It really doesn't.
an audio drama, but
This thing breezes by. I've watched it so many times.
While that amazing scene is going on,
I love drawing this scene, trying to figure out just the right way to make their laughs a bit different. That's the thing, like, it was this whole thing was challenging, but it was fun because I have visualized these scenes so many times.
Poking fun at the Doctor.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing about multi-Doctor stories, or even those episodes like where Sarah Jane came back in School Reunion, is that you get to see the companions poking fun at the Doctor so much. It's something I really wish they did more often. I'm gonna make this quick, I promise, but I really wish they'd bring past companions back more often, like from the classic series. Like, could you imagine seeing Tegan, or Ace, or Turlo again? Like, that'd be incredible. It's something I really don't think the show does enough, is rely on its history and these people who I'm sure will be more than happy to come back.
It's a good dilemma for Twilight that I really hope is expanded on in future episodes.
But anyway, that's just me rambling. I feel like I could have had a better visual with this. I used to have this idea in my head of, like, rips in the universe where you could see the other Doctors, but I also kind of like the shadowy thing, too. It's a very sloppy drawing, but a lot of these drawings are very sloppy because I was on a time crunch. So many Doctors. So many Doctors. And yet there's not enough. I miss when there was like a Doctor Whooves, a new Doctor Whooves every month. But when was the last time you saw that? Like, there's so many developments we've had in My Little Pony and Doctor Who that could have so much fun translating into Doctor Whooves itself, and it just hasn't. Which is a shame. I understand fandoms have their time, they have their booms, and then they sit in this comfortable position of people who stick around. And a lot of these productions are still going. I know Doctor Who's the Great is still going. There's still stuff with these two. And I don't like the Satan Pit. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I know some people love that episode, but it's so dumb. Like, the tension's fine, but the Doctor fighting the literal devil. I know this is a show where anything can happen, but it's stupid. I'm sorry. I don't like it.
And what Time Turner learns here will stick with him as his series goes on. But Twilight and Clockwork ain't got time for talk about their feelings. The walls of the universe get even weaker, so instead they...
these two are gonna have a falling out or a revelation of some kind eventually, whenever Doctor Who's Adventures comes back, and I still have hope that it will. I understand, like, I follow them behind the scenes. I understand from what they've posted what's been going on, and it's fine. I'm here. I will be patient. I'm not gonna give up until they officially say there's not gonna be any more.
I mean, it's cool to see the two Doctors finally cooperate.
I think at this point I was just burnt out. Like that was a really point. The climax was definitely, well, this kind of speaks for itself. I mean, I could mention the thing where the cats turned out to be helping them the whole time, but I don't know. I don't really have anything to say about it. That's the problem, is that sometimes I feel guilty about skipping over scenes, but sometimes there's just not much to say. Even if it's a twist, it's just like, yeah, it's there. It's not bad by any stretch. It's still a cool twist for the cats to have been helping them all this time, but, there's not much you can analyze about it. But, Doctor Who's month was really just a way for me to celebrate this little piece of fandom that meant so much to me. And I tried so hard to show that love before, through the animatics. I tried to get on the Pony in the Box team, and I really wanted this epilogue to emphasize that. How much I love this series, how much it exposed me to two wonderful series. Doctor Who was an incredible series. I probably would have never given it a chance if it wasn't for this series. I wouldn't have found my favorite Doctor. I wouldn't have given a crap about the female Doctor. This whole piece of legacy, and it just happened at the perfect time. And
of them, and to fully understand.
You know, the best part about this
Doctor Who's 50th
is that
special
this sentiment, what this meant to me, how much I loved Doctor Whooves, and how much I really did want to thank the people who gave up their free time and energy, sometimes in very stressful times, to bring us this show. It did reach out. I don't. You could probably see on the comments of the old video that not only did Lauren Goodnight, who played Twilight Sparkle, actually comment on not just my Doctor Whoves Adventure series, but Wrong Way Backwards, and also Squeak-Anon himself. Like, Squeak-Anon had been in, like, radio silence forever. I didn't even think he was online anymore. And all it said, and all Lauren Goodnight's comments said, is, "You're welcome." And you know what? Maybe it wasn't them talking about my review in extensive detail, how they felt about my comments, how they may have felt about my criticisms. Just the fact that I said thank you to them, and they took the time to say you're welcome, that was worth the whole thing. And you're probably seeing black right now. One of these days I'm going to get to a commentary where I'm not going over the limit, but it's not today. So, yeah, if by any chance they're watching this, if by any chance they're watching this commentary, just thank you. And even people who might have been working on the Doctor Who series who didn't comment for whatever reason, I understand. You know, you don't need to comment on what some rando on the internet thinks of your project, but really, it really does mean so much, and I hope this video emphasized that. So, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.